everyone, welcome back. It is time for the second review of 7. WrestleMania Night 2 review is here upon us. I got good old Seth Rollins on my shirt today. Campo's wearing Adidas.
Double.
Double Adidas.
I didn't even notice that.
Obscured by his absence tonight is Putty. Putty wanted to join, but because of the ungodly time we are recording this, Putty was not able to join us. But if you stick around to the end of the video, Putty did record a little message with his thoughts and his score. So make sure you stick to the end of the video to watch his review, or just jump to it. I don't care as long as you watch my video. But
nice.
So before we get into it, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Go follow the Discord. The link is in the description box below, so you know which days which wrestling reviews are coming out over the course of the next couple weeks. So with me once again, we have Campo.Reviews, the man who reviews movies, TV shows, wrestling. Once again, talking WrestleMania. Night 2, putting a little graphic up now. Night 2 greater than Night 1.
You can call me Camp.Reviews.
Camp.2 reviews today.
Because I think it might have been slightly better.
Yeah.
Which is like just a smidge.
Just a smidge. But which is funny because over the last couple years, Night 1 was always the big night, and Night 2 kind of fell flat.
How many nights have been 3 or 2 years? Sort of 2 nights?
I think it's been on for the last 5 years. 5 years.
And as far as I watched the last 2, and as far as I've researched for every one of the last 4, then it's been Night 1 that has been the better night.
Yeah, always has been.
For us on the 2 years ago when we first started doing this, night 2 for us was like a 6.
Yeah, it was really bad. Not really bad, but like
it's one of the lowest scores we've ever given on one of these reviews.
It was underwhelming.
Which tells you how much we like wrestling, because a 6 is like one of our lowest scores.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think Timmy's looking it up for us right now. Which night? 36 was not. Timmy is letting us know right now. The first one they did was the COVID era. Actually, the year before the COVID era was the WrestleMania 35 was the one that was the first. 36 was the first 2-night one. So it was the COVID WrestleMania. The reason why I think that's the reason why they split it into 2 nights was because there was nobody there, so they can just. So that's the reason why. Thank you, Timmy. But we'll go right into the first match. The first match of the evening was Seth freaking Rollins defending the WWE Heavyweight Championship against Drew McIntyre. CM Punk was on commentary. Oh, before we do get into this, Stephanie McMahon showed up.
Yeah. So, and this is a thing, and like whatever. Like, everyone hates me already. So it's like we spent, not I. The WWE fan world spent the last 30 years hating Stephanie McMahon, but then she shows up tonight and everybody cheers.
The reason being is she announced that officially the name of the new era is the Paul Levesque era.
They cheered her all the way out, though. This is nonsensical stuff to me, because it's like this company is so surrounded by nostalgia-based nonsense, and I don't mean that to be offensive. That's literally what it is. And it's like anything that feels remotely nostalgic is cheerworthy. It doesn't matter if we hated this person for the entire time. It doesn't matter if Ultimate Warrior was a mega racist for his entire career, but because he used to be in WWE, when he comes back, we'll cheer.
JBL is a perfect example of that too.
CM Punk is a perfect example of it. We hated this man because he left WWE, but when he came back and he won yesterday, all the posts, which we'll get to later, is I want to mention it when we get there, but there was like some crazy ones that I was like, okay. Digressing from the point, Stephanie McMahon came out. Who cares?
So Drew McIntyre versus Seth freaking Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. Great opener, but Seth Rollins is really showing his, like, he's falling apart.
He's tired.
Yeah.
He's definitely injured. You could see it in later. We'll talk about that.
When he couldn't even walk.
Yeah. He looked injured last night.
Yeah.
And I don't know. To me, it felt like he has nothing left in the tank. he needs a year off, like a full year
Yeah.
off, and which will be good. It'll revitalize his character as well because people won't have seen him for so long. Kind of like they did that with Becky Lynch, didn't they? She
Yeah.
went away for like a really
When
long
she was
time,
pregnant. Yeah.
and but this match was really good.
It
And like
was. Despite the
I,
fact like that Seth was at maybe 75%.
the thing that I will take the hit for, and big time, like you got to admit when you're wrong. I've never been a big Drew guy. I think he's fine. He carried this match, and he was really good.
Yeah, he had no choice but to carry this match.
It was a really good effort by him.
Yeah.
Very upsetting to the total outcome, I think.
The Claymore, I like the Claymore right at the beginning. Like as soon as
So
the
did I.
bell rang, like it's like, holy shit, is this like I honestly thought that was gonna be the fall. That's it.
And like I don't know if that was planned because if you look closely, it looks like Seth Rollins says nice when he was on the floor getting pinned.
Yeah.
Like as if he was like you just went for it right
I
off the bat.
like I said, obviously, like we're probably gonna harp on this a lot over the course of this interview, this review, but you could tell like they're moving away from the Vince McMahon by the numbers, follow the script, follow the story. You can't say certain words, which I'll talk about later in the show too.
That bothered me. We'll get there when we get there.
It did.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, Drew ends up winning. They make this big deal that Drew is like the first time he wins a championship in front of a live crowd at WrestleMania.
And I thought like I said, I thought the match was really good. I
Mhm.
thought the outcome was really good. And then
It was time to change it
yeah.
because Seth needs time off.
And as a pure and simple loather of CM Punk, when he went over to Punk, you could like everyone's like no, like wrestling's not real, okay? Like,
Yeah.
but you can tell, especially from
There's
watching the amount
animosity
of
between.
wrestling that we watch, that when someone is being for real and like the words he was saying to Punk, he didn't think it was getting picked up. He really meant those things that he was saying because he's like, I'll never forget what you did.
Mhm.
He's like it was like real words, and you could see CM Punk was getting upset by it.
And Punk, and to be an asshole right back, Punk's like, I can't hear you. I got headphones on. Like,
Yeah, you could tell though the reason was because Punk knew he was mic'd up and he didn't want to get in trouble for like going
yeah,
full. I hated his dumb thing at the beginning when he's like, he comes with a pipe and I come with a pipe bomb or whatever they said,
yeah.
and
He
it's like
comes
you're a
with a pipe
loser.
band, and yeah,
Yeah, like, anyways, but I like that whole angle. I like that CM Punk like beat him up a little bit there, but I do think it
forced.
was it felt forced and it was too fast. I did like it, but it was like he got injured way too fast. Like all of a sudden
Yeah,
he just fell down on the table and he was done for the count.
I think
Like
well, I mean, he threw him on the like he kind of took his leg out from him, then he hit him with the brace, and I think that's like more than anything was what took Drew out.
I think it was throwing the briefcase at him.
He missed.
Did he miss? I thought it
He
hit him,
missed. He missed. It went flying. It almost went into the
but he
fence.
dropped for it.
Yeah. He dropped
I didn't
for it
even
though,
notice that. I thought it hit him.
which leads us to our next point. We hear the music, and Damian Priest comes out and officially cashes in his Money in the Bank briefcase. And within, was it 10 seconds? We have again a new world heavyweight champion in
It's
Damian
good and it's
Priest.
bad because now what was the point of the Clash at the Castle stuff? Or what? It's go Yeah, because they're going back, right? They're doing Clash
Yes,
2.
they're doing Clash 2 in Scotland.
And it's like he's not the champion. Is he gonna win it there? Are you only letting Damian Priest go on like a 4 month run with this belt?
I think so. I think this is going to be a little bit of a back and forth. We're gonna get Damian Priest having a little run with it. Drew's gonna win it at Clash at the Castle.
And then Gunther's gonna win
Gunther's
it.
gonna win it in Germany, in Berlin, or wherever it's gonna be.
Do you think that they're gonna let Giancarlo Esposito win the Intercontinental belt to win in Germany because he's actually German? I don't know what his name is. I already forgot. Ludwig Kaiser.
Ludwig Kaiser, I could see
Yeah.
that.
Because I've heard rumors already that the planned run for Sami Zayn is supposed to be really short.
Yeah. There's still talks. I could be mistaken. There's still talks though that Sammy's winning Money in the Bank too.
Yeah, and that because they want him to eventually win the title, but I think he's gonna hold it just like Damian Priest did all the way until next year sometime.
Yeah.
So, because there's too much passing of the belt.
Yeah, that you don't want too much bouncing around because we got a lot of title changes over the course of these 2 nights.
Yeah, and that's fine. It's
I'm
about
good with that.
time
It's
for
about
most of it.
time. Yeah. Um,
Um,
yeah,
Good
and it
match.
was
I liked the cashing in situation. I
yeah.
just think
You,
there was
you thought this was going to be a failed attempt.
it felt weird to me that you had this guy throw an absolute smackdown on Seth Rollins, the champion, then go to Punk and drop those like vicious words and then get knocked out so easily and lose the title. That's what felt
Yeah,
like
that
off to me.
fair enough, fair enough. But I mean, I don't mind Damian Priest as
No,
champ.
no. So far we're off to a really good start for the
Yeah.
night.
With that, we are going to the Philadelphia street fight between the Pride against the Final Testament.
It was way more fun than it had any right to be.
It felt like those Instagram videos where Snoop Dogg's narrating those nature movies. Because
I
Snoop
that's
Dogg
what
was
it
on.
I will admit that 100% Snoop Dogg kind of ruined the match for me. I like
Yeah,
listening to him. There was no plan for him. So
no,
he doesn't know how to be an announcer. So he's just saying things. He's like,
yeah.
"Oh, that's a really nice DDT," and the guy does a power bomb. I'm like, "Well, what? Like, I don't know. I'm just making an
Or he
example."
just says like something random, like, "Oh no, get out of the way."
Yeah, and it's like it felt weird. I'm not upset about it, but
Yeah,
it's like it felt weird. And
and and McAfee was like he annoyed me tonight.
McAfee was putting in his best effort to be like
Annoying.
a cringe edge lord, where he just was trying to be as edgy as possible. Did you notice how many times he randomly yelled out shit, but like
Yeah.
waited for a moment so that it sounded so out of place so that to make sure everyone heard it, like he's trying to
Hmm.
get fired or something?
Yeah, maybe he is.
Or that from someone in the mic was like, say swear word, you know? Like, because
Yeah,
they blur out everyone else's swearing, but Pat McAfee could say whatever he wanted.
yeah. Except at the end of the night, I surprised Michael Cole said what he said.
There's a lot of things we'll
Yeah,
get to there when we get there, but the match was fun. There was a lot of
yeah.
botches,
We
but I'm
got
not
we
going to
got
take
Bubba
away
Ray
from
Dudley
that.
coming back for the even though he's still under contract to TNA.
Yeah, but TNA's working with them.
Yeah,
Um, I would have liked to have seen like I know this would have
both
thrown off
Dudleys.
course both Dudleys, but make it like so he starts pushing Devon or Bubba Ray around, and Devon's in the crowd, and Devon jumps over, and they 3D someone through a table, or like do something
Yeah,
like that.
or Tommy Dreamer or somebody.
Yeah, anybody, but it was fine.
Yeah, because
Um,
Tommy Dreamer was there. He was at the Hall of Fame show too.
a lot of people were there actually. I was very surprised. Um, yeah, it's fun match for what it
Yeah,
was,
like it was like usually I'm not a fan of these plunder matches
especially WWE
to be
because
plunder match.
they very very quickly go through the weapons. Like there's no
Yeah,
build up to a weapon. It's
I
just like set it
really
up,
like the
break it.
beginning, the kendo stick beat down at the beginning. That one
Yeah.
was good. That looked
Oh,
good.
the kendo stick filler spot when they broke the table accidentally was
Yeah.
wicked. He just
Yes.
was hammering him with it.
Yeah.
I'm very sure Karrion Cross was not happy about that afterwards.
No. But other than that, this was fun. It was good. Like we got a bit of comedy spots too, because sometimes we need the little comedic spots here and there.
Yeah, it was fun. It was an enjoyable experience. The good thing was it kept the pace high, so we never felt like a slowdown here.
Yeah. And what's his name? Montez Ford did that insane leap over the when he did the senton over the turnbuckles and the ring post there, and he almost landed in the crowd.
The other guy definitely hurt his head, Toka and Razor. I don't know which
Yeah,
one it
took
was.
on Razor. So did BFAB. She legit got hurt
I
too, and
told
she
you that I messaged you that
yeah,
she tried to do a kick or something and she fell awkwardly and she could see she hurt her back and she didn't want to do the table spot. She looked at
no,
it like 3 times and was like, "Oh man, I got to do this."
yeah, it was just pretty funny though. But I mean, the Pride go over Bobby Lashley, Angelo Dawkins, and Montez Ford.
You had
This,
to, like we said,
yeah,
you couldn't make the Street Profits look like losers after not winning the tag thing.
yeah. So that which is good, and that's fine, and I don't mind that. It sets up Montez Ford and Dawkins. Are they Raw or SmackDown? Raw, right?
I think so. I don't even remember.
Well, wherever they are, they're set. They can set them up for a tag team run finally. Now
That
that
could
the
be
belts are
why they gave
separate.
the meme teams the belts to give a quick win passover.
Yeah. But with that, we'll go into our next match. LA Knight against AJ Styles.
Way better than I expected it to be. I
And I
mean,
was
not
and I
expected it.
was
This was my
actually
hype. This was my
yeah,
match
this
I
was
was
their
hyped
hype
for.
match. Yeah.
But like
It met expectations.
it
Too
did.
much of the Slim Jim
Yeah,
advertisements,
it was
but
non. But that's like I don't care about that at this point
and you see the
anymore.
video I sent you with the guy sucking off the Slim,
Yeah, that's funny because they caught him
and they
on
cut
it,
it.
immediately moved away from him, but then went right back to where he was, and he was gone. Somebody fucking grabbed him and probably threw him out of the stadium.
Yeah. But still, as soon as I saw that, I was like, "Yep, I got to send this to the guys."
He was like it was
Slim
deep in
Jim.
there.
Yeah, he was going hard on that Slim Jim.
But
He
yeah,
likes those long boys, eh?
it was worth it, man. That was worth every second. The LA Knight did a really good job here. I
Yeah,
know he's very serviceable, and if you put him with someone
yeah.
good, he can do it.
He's very charismatic, but his in-ring work is sometimes lacking.
His in-ring depends on who he's facing.
Yeah,
He's a very capable wrestler, but if you put him against shit, he's not going to elevate the match.
yeah.
He can only help you elevate it if the other wrestler is very good.
And you had someone who was very good on the
Which
other.
it's surprising because like watching AJ Styles fight Finn Balor all those times, like those were so anticipated for me, and those matches
Yeah,
sucked. And like this was like surprisingly
good.
really good. And I love AJ Styles,
And
so
they
this
even
is
mentioned the fact that these two guys just missed each other in TNA,
yeah, just because that's right when he went to Japan, right?
but they actually made reference to that in the commentary.
They said a few things actually at the beginning of the show. They said something, and I can't remember what it is now off the top of my head.
Yeah. But
Anyways,
it was a good match for what it was, especially this was supposed to be the filler match on the card. But it didn't feel like a filler match. It just felt like another good match.
if anything, the previous match to me would have been the filler match, but
Yeah. Because
this is two really big names.
this was just nothing on the line, right? This was
Yeah,
just a match. And what did you tell me? AJ Styles face, what happens every time?
he gets cut on the cheek. I don't understand it. How does that keep
How?
happening?
Every time.
Always in the same spot
Yeah, it's
too.
always on
Is
the
that
same spot.
that's yeah? I don't know.
I don't know either. But LA Knight does go over as it should. This could be setting LA Knight up for something bigger.
I mean, we keep saying that and nothing ever happens.
But are we maybe now we're actually going to get that LA Knight because we'll talk about it after the end of
Yeah.
this match. Because up next we have our three-way match for the United States Championship. Logan Paul defending against Kevin Owens and Randy Orton.
This was just a big goofy match.
I loved it though. The comedy spots were
Yeah, the whole
between
match was
Owens.
comedy spots, and it was really good.
It started off right from the beginning. Kevin Owens throwback to the golf cart from last week. He backs it up and it's like telling Randy Orton, "Come on in, I'll give you a ride." And Randy Orton's like looking at like he didn't know what to say. He's
And
like,
then he went really fast.
yeah, and he's like holding on. Like you see Randy like
He told him, he's like, slow down. You can see
yeah,
him.
but it was fun. I
Yeah, it was a
enjoyed
fun
it.
match. It was good, and Logan Paul's good, and Randy Orton is not too old to keep up, but he doesn't have it
But they were
anymore.
doing, but if you see it, the best spots with Randy Orton were the double teaming spots with Kevin Owens.
Yeah, and Kevin Owens
I
still
want to
willing to
see
take
this
a
tag
bump.
team now.
I think that's what's gonna happen.
I want to see this tag team now.
RKO.
KO. Like it's right there. It's right there, guys. It's right there. So
I bet you that's gonna happen.
it has to. They'd be silly not to. Just like the missed joke that they had 1,400 was it 145,000 and 420 people at the event.
You know what's gonna happen too? I bet you they're gonna have a combined finisher where Kevin Owens lifts the guy up and then you RKO him like
Like a power bomb.
3D basically.
Okay. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it. We had some other random guy in the prime suit. What's his name? Showstopper.
Never heard of him ever in my life, and I watch a lot of YouTube.
Yes. Well, I mean, Timmy's looking up his Wikipedia page, but he has a Wikipedia page.
Well, he's obviously famous if he came out with Logan Paul.
Yeah, he's famous for the live streams of Fortnite, FIFA, and Roblox.
And his name was what? Silly Show?
Yeah, I show speed. He's only 19.
Yeah, he looked like a twerp.
Yeah. Yeah, barking at Kevin Owens or not Kevin Owens, at
This
Randy
is
Orton.
this is where for me I wanted to say this. The match got
A little
uh
too silly.
no, the general event got
Hmm.
a little out of hand for me because it's WWE and the forced edginess. Like, I don't think he was told you can swear, but I think he just wasn't paying attention and that kid just started swearing. How many times did he say fuck? He said it like
Yeah.
12 times. And
Oh
they had
yeah.
to keep beeping him. And then they missed a few beeps and it came out. And it was like, it doesn't feel right
Yeah.
because it feels so forced. It feels so
This
stupid.
guy, Logan Paul, is doing a favor for this guy, and all he did is try to put himself over at this
Yeah.
point.
And it was like, you could see that first Randy
Because
Orton was like,
Orton
huh?
murdered him on that RKO.
Yeah, you could see the way that it happened, and like obviously this was planned, but he was being overly rough with him in the getting him up on the
Yeah.
like
Even
he
even
like
even the
dragged him.
Spartan kick.
Yeah. I
That
think
Spartan kick was hard.
I think he was generally upset with the way he was talking.
The way he was acting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
because like
and
that
the
he
table
hit him.
didn't break,
No, which is even better.
which probably hurt.
Yep. Yep. So that guy, showstopper, gobstopper, whatever his name is, he probably has
Yeah.
at least bruised ribs out of that one. But
Or
in
he
the
knows
end,
not to say stupid things to
yeah,
giant people anymore.
yeah, people that are twice your age and twice your size.
But yeah, that was it was a generally fun match.
It was,
Again,
and surprising, Logan Paul goes over.
yeah, and I like the way they did it too. It was like he didn't really win; he kind of just snuck it in.
Yeah, he snuck the win because Randy Orton RKO'd Kevin Owens. He threw Randy Orton out of the ring and just pinned Kevin. So he took the cheap win, which is fine. Which that's what leads me to what I was saying earlier with LA Knight. I think we're finally going to get that LA Knight Logan Paul feud because Paul's time with the company is probably coming to an end now that he has his drink
I don't think it's coming to an end, but I think they're ready to move to
on.
give it to LA Knight. I think there's probably something else in the cards for Logan Paul, like a
Yeah.
forced tag team where they'll have a split up, or his brother's gonna come in as his tag partner, or something stupid like
After the
that.
Tyson fight.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, it was fine. We had our little Hall of Fame spot. They announced all the Hall of Famers. Nice to see Bull Nakano getting recognized.
yeah, it was nice to see all of them. I
Yeah.
don't understand the people's like desperate desire for the Bray Wyatt. He's going to get inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Why
Like
did it have to be this year?
it wasn't him though. He didn't get inducted. It
I
was his
know, I know,
dad.
I know, but the online community is freaking out that he didn't get inducted this year. And it's like, he's going to get inducted undeservedly, in my opinion,
Let
but
his
he's
dad
gonna
get
get
his
it.
moment. Yeah.
Yeah, and they gave them
A
this moment.
platform.
They gave the family this moment by giving it to him,
Yeah.
right?
And
Because
having Bo Dallas induct his father too.
yeah, and it's like to me that I think like just wait. You don't want to, or are you going to overshadow the fact that they put his dad in as his dad just got put in as a nod to him, and you're going to
Yeah.
overshadow that nod by inducting him as well? Just wait a year till there's no one good to put in,
Yeah.
and then you have a guy. There you go.
Yeah. And if you I don't know if you watched any of the Hall of Fame stuff, but they gave The Rock that People's Champion belt
Yeah, I heard that.
and what's the point of that? Like he's walking around like he's a champion. Like
Who cares? It's The
it's
Rock. Let him do whatever he
it's a
wants.
paper championship, but that irks me a little bit. So with that, we are going to go co-main event of the night: Bailey versus Io Sky. Bailey's entrance was fantastic. I loved Bailey's entrance.
I liked everything. I liked all
Yeah,
of it. I
this
thought
had
Io
a
Sky's
very
entrance was fantastic too.
this had a very Joshi style feel to the match too.
Really the only knock I would put here is it was a little bit too long,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know how many minutes it was.
14 and a half.
It felt like over 20 in my
If yeah,
opinion.
it did feel long. It
The last chunk of the match when Bailey was clearly hurt,
yeah.
it slowed down like significantly. Um,
Yeah, when Io went for the over the moonsault and Bailey tried to put her knees up and they kind of buckled. And this
but
just proves my point
the
that I think Bailey's still not at 100%.
the Rose Plant reversal was
Mm-hmm.
amazing.
Yeah, I didn't even see it at first. I had to rewind it a few times.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
I think this is great. I love it. Bailey won. It's a feel good moment.
Hmm.
I really enjoy this. She is now, at least on paper, I think
The greatest
the greatest
WWE
WWE women's
women's
wrestler of
wrestler
all
of all
time.
time. I
Not
think so.
and like in ring ability, but on paper, yes.
Yeah, even though
Um,
Charlotte has what, 15 championships?
yeah, but her 15 championships are like, to me, they're paper championships. A lot of them, right?
Yeah,
It was just to
to
get
give
her
her
to where her dad
that
was.
is. Yeah.
Not that she's bad. She's a
No,
better wrestler than Bailey, I think, but I don't think she's a better character or a better talker. And I think just
Bailey's just the whole thing.
yeah, Bailey's a total package, and that it's great to see that. And
And I'm happy for
I
her.
really hope her injury is not going to have her like
I
relinquish the title.
I hope this is not a Daniel Bryan situation.
Yeah, or a Finn Balor situation.
Yeah. But feel good moment. Bailey does win. So with that, we'll go right into our main event. Bloodline rules match, which is basically a no DQ, no count out match. We can basically do whatever we want. We were calling it the kitchen sink match because literally, Cody Rhodes against Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship.
So immediately there wasn't enough kitchen sink for me.
Yeah, I
I
was
still
expecting more.
I admittedly, when this match is over, which we'll talk about it more before we get there, but when this match was over, I was very satisfied with what I got.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh
the
yeah, this
in-ring match
match.
was nothing special. Like the actual match between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes in the ring was nothing
Yeah,
special. It was very
it
average.
was a very standard Roman Reigns paint by
Yeah.
numbers match.
But like the whole like event surrounding it was really good. I enjoyed all of that. I would have liked
I
more sync, like I
I
said.
also liked how for everything they were throwing out there, they had like for example, whatever Roman was throwing, Cody had an answer for. Whatever Cody's throwing, Roman had an answer for. Like it told even though it was very basic, it was a serviceable match in terms of telling the story in the ring.
It told a really good story. And it's almost as in my opinion, it's not as big as, but it's almost as good as um the Ring of Honor story, which we're going to talk about.
Yeah,
I think to me that was more significant, and it's kind of got overshadowed by this by the end of the weekend, and I think it's a little unfair, but it's was a really enjoyable time. Like this is what I
yeah,
want in a WrestleMania main event. I want
exactly.
literally Attitude
Everything.
Era overbooking.
Hmm.
Just don't go Vince Russo.
Yeah. It's basically this was not on that level, but that SmackDown, the greatest SmackDown finish of all time, where
Yeah.
everybody's it was all along that lines there. So about halfway, I would say what, about halfway, 2/3 through the match.
Well, the match started about 25 minutes after it started.
Yeah. And
Um,
then we get our first interference.
yeah,
Jimmy
go you
Uso, Jimmy
jump
Uso
in.
comes out and attack super kicks Cody. Cody kicks out, and who's there to make the save? Jey Uso, which we said this was going to play into it. Jey Uso comes out, they brawl onto the ramp, and Jey spears Jimmy off the ramp through a table.
And on upon the landing, when you see it, I felt like more like comfortable with it. But when you saw it happening, like as it was happening, it
Hmm.
looked like they missed the tables.
Yeah, but they got it. There
They got it
was,
when it goes down the low camera, you could see that they actually like landed through
yeah,
them.
they knew what they were doing. Yeah, so we get Jimmy Uso. They brawl a little bit more, and then we get our second interference. Solo Sikoa gives him the spike. They do that really. They kind of had a neat little move where Roman spears him, and as he spears him, he did the spike, even though the spike is the most useless.
I do think though this whole sequence, and Cody consistently kicking out was the best part of the match.
That's what it was for. That's exactly what it was for. So, Roman's ready to take it down, and who's there to make the save? We hear "Rapidoo," and out comes. I don't know. I couldn't see who he was.
That's true.
We get
Uh,
John Cena for the save.
John
John
Cena came
Cena.
out with a very minimal amount of moves
Hmm.
because he's not supposed to be wrestling apparently.
Yeah.
Um, and
He
it
didn't
was
take a hit.
no, well, he did from The Rock,
Yeah. Yeah. But
but
he was allowed the
spoilers.
one.
But yeah, I thought it was fine. I think this is to set up some kind of rock and roll and thing. Rock and Cena probably at like maybe
Next.
Saudi Arabia or
Yeah.
something. But at the same time, it was like John Cena to me has nothing to do with any of this. And it felt weird if I would, like I said, I would have dug deeper and went more nostalgic, and I probably would have brought out like Stone Cold or something, so that when it's The
I don't
Rock
think
and him,
Stone Cold would have been able to run down that ramp.
yeah, but that's why he always comes out with an ATV.
That's true.
But either way, John Cena looked like he struggled to run down the ramp.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
but
it,
he puts Solo Sikoa through the table, through the announce table,
which was
and
fun. That was all fun.
now we get two members of the bloodline down.
All right, and then now The Rock comes out,
The Rock comes out.
and it was
They have their
awesome.
first stare down since the match that they had at WrestleMania, what, 28, 29, whatever it was. And which even that match was pretty good. And
From the dead era of wrestling,
yeah, that was a dead era 12 years ago. Yeah, it was 2008.
from the dark ages.
That's right at the end of I would say that's right at the end of what, the reality era they called it.
I don't know what any of those eras are called. Everything after the Attitude Era until now is just the Dark
Well,
Ages
I
for
mean,
me.
after, yeah, but I mean, we had the ruthless aggression, but
Yeah, there's like four eras after that.
yeah,
There's the
but
PG era, the whatever you said,
yeah, the
then the
reality
COVID
era,
era.
the COVID era, and the post COVID, and now,
I just think everything after COVID era is what it is now. Like
yeah.
I don't think to me people are trying to make a significant line in the sand now after this match happened, but to me this match is part of the
So
last.
I would say this event is the first event, is the first, I would say it's the first WrestleMania that it's solely Triple H without
Okay,
anybody.
so if calling this the Paul Levesque era, okay,
Mhm.
to me, from the PG era ending until now is one era. It's not split between COVID and post COVID. It's
That's
just
the
the whole.
PG era to me.
Yeah, okay. So the PG era just continues throughout this whole thing. Okay,
That would
that's
be
fair.
for me at least.
So it's definitely the longest era in wrestling.
I would think so. But we get the Rock. The Rock gives John Cena the rock bottom. He takes off his belt. He's ready to whip him like a schoolboy. And we hear the gong. The lights go out. Lights come back on. And the Undertaker looks like he's ready for a jog.
Yeah. Weird. I didn't like that part of it, but I
You
thought it was
wanted to see
cool.
the Undertaker in full
Yeah,
Undertaker.
and I know it's Undertaker, he's a big name, it's WrestleMania and Undertaker goes together, but in the significance of this situation, kind of like the John Cena, it doesn't have any relevance. It was like
No,
you're just.
this would have made more sense. This is where you needed Stone Cold.
And to me, that's what I'm saying. Why didn't we do stuff like that? Where's Tama Tonga? Is he not signing in WWE? Um, like
Unless they're saving him for Monday night. So just out of context, we're recording this on Monday afternoon before Raw airs.
yeah,
So we don't know what's happened on Raw. Usually the Raw after WrestleMania is always one of the biggest Raws of the year. This is where we're going to get our Matt Hardy return, I think. Which we've got to say, the promo package before the match, we got Kenny
oh
and we
yeah,
got the Bucks
and Chris Jericho.
and Chris Jericho.
Which yeah, listen, there's a reason for that, and the casual viewer may not immediately know that,
They're
but
not hiding the fact that Cody just didn't do anything for 10 years while he was gone.
yeah, and they're also acknowledging the fact that like it's not a picture of Cody and Sammy Guevara. It's Cody and the best wrestler in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Arguably, maybe the best of all time.
And the best tag team right now, I think.
So it's
And
there's a reason why they did that.
yeah,
Like it was that's a strategic photo. That wasn't like, oh, we accidentally found this picture.
yeah,
They
no,
want
that was,
Kenny.
they want
Uh,
Kenny, and
they
I'm
want the
sure they wouldn't
Bucks.
mind Jericho back either.
Yeah, they wouldn't. But I think that's all. That's fun. I like that WWE did that. I think that's all fun, and I love that. I would have really liked to have seen Dustin Rhodes come out. I'm really upset
Yeah,
that they didn't do that. At least at the end, even.
yeah.
Um,
Which we'll get to it. Right now, Undertaker chokeslams The Rock. And then lights go out. Taker disappears. Roman Reigns hits, which we completely missed. Seth Rollins showing up.
Oh yeah, the Shield music plays. I was like, yes, John Moxley's coming out.
That's what
Uh,
everybody thought. I knew
John Moxley
Mox.
was in Japan, so
Yeah, so I don't think unless he took Taylor Swift's jet.
yeah, and got there like right exactly as that moment happened.
Yeah, but we did get Seth Rollins, who I didn't even see walk to the ring because they probably had to wheel him in on a wheelchair because he was like nothing in this match. He just was
You could
there.
see it post match when he's trying to get in the ring. He couldn't climb up on the aprons.
No.
They had to help him get up.
So my thought on just to have Rollins out there is for this to come full circle. If Rollins had not turned his back on the Shield 10 years ago, we wouldn't have this Roman Reigns character. And that's why Roman Reigns, instead of hitting Cody with the chair, he hit Rollins with the chair. And that's what gave Cody the opportunity to reverse the spear, hit three crossroads, and 1, 2, 3, the Roman Reigns era has come to an end.
Thank God. That's the thing though too. Now that we're here, okay, I don't want to talk about anything else that happens unless you do from this like point onwards.
No.
I think there was an way overuse of swearing.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they're beeping it out makes it feel super lame. This adds to the previous time.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but meanwhile, Pat McAfee keeps saying shit and no one's beeping him out.
Yeah.
And I
Hey,
found that
nobody beeped
really,
out Michael Cole when he said, "Holy Christ."
yeah. And then Mike, at one point, one of them was like, that's some crazy. And then they stopped. And then Pat McAfee was like, shit. Like, I was like, what?
Somebody
Um,
needs to take Pat McAfee out.
the
The
champion.
champion, yeah.
Um,
But I mean, we got to add this to feel good moment of the year.
um, yes, in a sense, because it is feel good,
It's
but
significant.
it is significant. But to me, it was so like I don't know how to explain it, right? Like the other situations of a lot of things, like
I honestly thought
Venus
Roman
getting
was
together.
I was thinking Roman was retaining. I
So did
honestly did.
I. It's a feel good moment because we want Cody to win. So yes, I will say yes. I
It's a
agree
feel good
with you.
moment because we just didn't want Roman to win.
And but also that we want Cody to win. I think that's
Yeah, it's
significant.
time. It's
Um,
full circle for him. He literally finishes his story. Now it's
I
time to write another book.
you spent 3 WrestleManias building this story,
Yeah, his
and the
return
thing I
against
have now
Rollins.
is like, where do you go? Like we spent so long ingrained in this story that it feels so even though I want it to end, it feels so weird now. And like, where do they go?
Yeah.
There's no more like big boss for him to fight.
Nope.
Was it just going to be a bunch of little rinky dink feuds until they figure it out, or until Tama Tonga shows up, or something like that?
Gunther?
No, because I think Gunther's going to go for the other belt.
The World Heavyweight Championship. Yeah,
Anyways,
that's a Gunther belt. Before we get on, we're gonna quickly go. Putty has his thoughts on WrestleMania, so let us go to Putty. Putty, go ahead.
Thank you guys for letting me be a part of this. Unfortunately, I could not be there, work, the workout, that kind of stuff. But I do want to give my final thoughts on the second night of WrestleMania. So first and foremost, this was much better in my eyes than the first night. Surprisingly, the street fight was probably the worst match in my eyes, to be honest with you, how I felt. As for the main event, I will put it as my top, even though I do like the Bailey match. Um, but I'm gonna actually pick the main event, and the reason is as my number one match of the night, and that's because there was some eventful stuff. Now, of course, they missed opportunities to bring some people back that would have been great in this, as far as for Cody Rhodes's win. Um, and of course, we did get to see some great ones come back, John Cena, Undertaker, but they kind of, it feels like those are the people they have already on the stable to wait, that are just always there to come back for special events. So that maybe fell short. The match, the main event felt like it started off slow, but it gained some impact. And so it probably was my favorite match, though I do like the Bailey match as well. But I'm actually going to give it a higher score than I did gave first night, and I'm maybe even being generous, but the nostalgia and the way it felt at the end was really nice. So I'm actually going to give it 8, surprisingly. But it was because it's eventful, and we're now in the Triple H saga. But anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all letting me be part of the the review, and we'll see you guys next year for WrestleMania 41. Back to the guys.
And we are back. Putty enjoyed the show. Putty gave it an 8.
Putty's a clown shoe. Yeah, it just good. It was a good show. Putty gave it an 8.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what are you giving it?
A little bit higher, actually, giving this an 8.4.
I'm so conflicted here because what was my highest show of this year?
Highest show this year. I think it was New Japan, which was an 8.
This is an 8.
Nope. Revolution was an 8.3.
Revolution. That's the retirement of Sting.
Mm-hmm.
This was an 8.3.
Okay, so you're like, I mean, we're not that far off.
Yeah.
I think this
I would have said 8.2 because I thought my previous highest one was an 8. So I'm willing to tie it because I think it was maybe the best pay-per-view, but I can't go higher than an 8.3 for this because there was 2 filler, like absolute filler matches, even though I liked them.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Now, like we were saying, where earlier in the show, we were saying, where does Cody go from here? Who is on SmackDown that he could really face? AJ could be the next feud. Bullet Club members.
It could be maybe Shinsuke. They could just make him come out. Like, there's no rules between the companies.
No.
It's going to be difficult though. I think you have to find someone.
This is where you could have used Okada.
Yeah, you need a Japanese style story here. So it has to be someone very large, I think. I think you find like the biggest guy you have on your roster, you build him up for a bit and then put him in a feud with Cody.
Yeah.
Maybe Bronson Reed.
Bronson Reed did win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Yeah, maybe you give him a couple huge squash matches against big name people because he's large, right?
Yeah.
And I think you got to tell the story of him overcoming a giant or something, you know?
Yeah.
And it can't be Omos.
No.
Maybe you have him briefly briefly squash Bobby Lashley.
Okay.
Um,
Karrion Kross, a possibility?
yeah, Kieran Cross sucks. I'm sorry. I know you like him.
No, I'm just saying to squash him.
Okay, yeah, just squash him. I don't
Like
know.
as a challenge.
There's some stuff you could do. Just whatever. This was a
Your
good.
next pay-per-view is SummerSlam, and I think that's where you do your AJ Styles match.
So what did you get? What was read me Putty's score
8.
and what was his last one?
Night 1, 7.3.
7.3. So Putty's overall score is 7.7.
Mm-hmm.
What's mine?
7.1 and 8.3.
7.7. So I'm guessing yours is going to be higher than that though.
8.4 and 7.1. Be about the same.
7.8. So you're slightly higher. But I do think
it deserved it.
It was a good pay-per-view.
It really was. I really enjoyed it. Now, before we end this, all the belts have changed hands except 2 over the course of the last 2 days. Rhea Ripley's World Women's Heavyweight Championship and which was the other one? The US Championship. Are we getting refreshes on all the belts?
Like to change hands or to look different?
Look different. Are we going to get a refresh on the IC belt? Are we going to get a refresh on the tag belts?
I don't know because the tag belts are red and blue and that's kind of already a thing. Maybe they change the plates.
You could keep the straps red and blue, but just have a different belt design.
Yeah, maybe they do that. Or I do think Cody's going to get a different belt. I think that's the reason why they changed the other one so much and didn't really change this one. They just changed the color of it because they're planning on introducing a new belt. It'll be like a winged eagle, but with the WWE logo in the middle, like how the other belt is.
Bailey's belt is changing too.
I don't know. I don't know if the women's ones will change again. Actually, yeah, because they'll try to mimic Cody's, but it'll be like a daintier bird. It'll be like a raven. A dove. I said a raven.
Quote the raven, a daintier bird, a crow.
Daintier bird. What's the big one? It's a condor.
It's a vulture.
Yeah, it's a vulture. Yeah. Anyways.
Eagle and a hawk. There you go. And I think we're gonna get a refresh on the tag belts and the IC belt as well.
Maybe I see. I don't know if we're gonna get a different tag belts. I genuinely think it's. Maybe they bring back the old belts.
See, like, I'm such a fan. You got them both in your background there. I'm such a fan of that white belt that when they redesigned it to this belt, I didn't like it, but it's kind of growing on me a little
I don't
bit.
mind it at all. Now that I own one, I don't mind
Yeah.
it. But I I do think maybe they make the strap white again. Didn't somebody do that already though?
The white straps now are for the women's belts, right?
That's really sexist.
But that's what they're doing because you saw what they did with, which we'll talk next week on our NXT review, the NXT Women North American Championship.
I think we should introduce a new thing where, especially if they're planning on keeping someone as a champion for a long period of time, that the belt looks the same, the plates, but they can have their own customizable strap where it could be like cheetah print or whatever, like you do your thing, right?
Yeah. Whatever. So, if you have anything else to say about WrestleMania, it was good. So, with that out of the way, guys, thanks again for joining us. Tune in tomorrow. Tomorrow we will have Sakura Genesis New Japan review. So, main event of Tetsuya Naito versus Yota Tsuji, LIJ versus LIJ. So, make sure you tune in tomorrow for that. And in the words of Kenny Omega, who made an appearance on the show, technically, goodbye and good night.